why I have a solution for all three. I can get all three of these things done to take care of your water, a complete whole house water treatment solution. Somebody give me a number on what now here's the low end. I don't like low ends, but I'll talk about it. So we know we're going to top down sell. On top down selling, I'm going to go with the Smart HE, the Smart RO. The question on municipal water, are we going to do the Big Blue? Or are we at least going to go to a non-backwashing carbon? Because a non-backwashing carbon, for all of you guys that know, qualifies as a unit. A Big Gray or a Big Blue does not. Okay, but it takes care of the chlorine. So, what do you guys want to do? Tell them what's your thoughts.
We don't even offer Big Blues, Big Grays. We just,
Love you.
we just do DFCs.
Yeah.
Does anyone here do the Big Blue still?
Okay, all right. You'll find that it'll be beneficial for you to change. Okay, all right. So, tell me, what does that whole package cost? On the Smart, just ballpark, I don't care what it's, just ballpark. 11,000 too.
For triple?
Yeah.
For the triple. And again, what I want to make sure every one of you guys telling you right now, it's all about your own belief, okay? You got to come in here with is triples on every appointment, period. Man, it will blow your mind. It's, you know, the things that we think about, that energy, it transforms. The more you think you're going to get a triple, you're going to get triples. The more you keep thinking that all I'm going to get is a single, guess what comes out of that? A single is because of what we think. And then the mindset, and that whole direction sways you into that part. You got to come into this every appointment saying, I know now, I got to do this water test right. Because if that customer have not self-discovered by themselves, you're just assisting them through the process. But that customer has to realize and understand they've got 3 issues they have to deal with. And even when they say no, if you honestly believe that homeowner ain't taking, I only got 1 out of 2 situations that I know exist in my house. I mean, think about how heavy that is. Now it's been disclosed. You know? It's been disclosed. That's like someone saying, hey man, you gotta stand behind your, you know.
Stand on the shirt.
But you at home, I'm just saying. I had to come up with something, Anthony. I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry.
Whatever, man.
You know, I'm sorry. I had to drive it home, man. I'm sorry. But you at least know what you do with it. You at home. Oh my gosh, I gotta have some fun with it. Okay. All right. So there's 3 things, right? So if we know we're at 11-2. You gotta believe that. You gotta start believing it. You gotta start believing that every appointment I'm going on, this is what I'm writing. You got to believe that. And if I can be very transparent with you, because my whole goal here is to make you guys money and make you successful. If you don't believe this, then the question is, why are you here? Why are you here? If you ain't here to maximize income, why are you here? That's why I hired you. I didn't hire you to sell softeners. I hired you to maximize your income. I hired you because you will give me high fives every time you see a $20,000 a month check. I hired a guy, first year, his name was Chris in Indiana. This dude, you want to talk about a note-taking fanatic. This dude came out the gates blazing. Out of 17 reps in the state of Indiana that I represented for Dreesen, this dude I hired on month 4, he had already did $65,000 in revenue. This is the guy that would call me and thank me every time he wrote a deal. Just say, Vic, I can't believe this is happening. He came from Craigslist. The most he's ever made was $48,000 in his life. Okay? This man, 3 more months later, paid for it in cash, him and his wife, to go to Hawaii. Okay? In cash for a whole week. That's what I'm talking about. That exists here, guys. That's here. That's right here in this room. But do you believe it? Do you believe it? $11,200. That's how I'm coming to every appointment. This is what they gotta get, minimum. That doesn't mean that every one of them is going to get it, but you gotta believe this is how I'm presenting it. Okay? Now here's where this 3-way close and why we have to start getting costs from your customers. So on Aqua Finance, there's really 3 tiers. Aqua Finance will tell you, I want to give you guys the 3rd tier because most of your customers that apply for Aqua Finance will fall between 1, the top tier, or 2. But 90% of all of your deals that go through will fall in those 3 categories, 1, 2, and 3. So if I give someone the 3 and I put them in, so you have 1, 2, and 3 categories, and the 15-year loan, yeah, hold on, 10.99% right now. Okay, you're at a 1.3 payment factor. Anytime they hit a 2 or a 1, you can decide if you want to bring them down to a 9.9%. Okay? So what's important about this and why payment is so important that we drive payment on every single appointment is I gotta know what that low payment is. I can talk about anything after they hear what the lowest payment is. Because in my mind, when I hear lowest payment, in my mind, everybody can afford my equipment. That's the mindset that I have. When I have that mindset, I'm excited to go to any appointment. I don't prejudge. I don't care who they are. Every single person can afford my equipment. That's the mindset you need to leave out of here with, right? So, Chase, get your calculator out there. All right. 11,200 times, I believe, is 0.013.
145. 866.
That's a triple. Now, we have to talk about this because I want to know, what does 145 accumulates to? Is that a car payment? No, car payments are higher than that. Cell payment, we're close. Right? This payment takes care of my house, my appliances, my skin, my water, the things I cook with. This 145 will take care of everything. And eventually what happens? It goes away. And I still have my equipment. Okay? But now I want you guys to, this is how I want you to look at it. Is if I know that this is the package I lead with on every municipal appointment based on their water test, then I know when I do a cost analysis, I know 145 is the nugget. But now, because now of all times, I gotta pull what they're spending. Because, let's use this as an example. We just said, and Tim said this yesterday, if we find out they have a bottled water expense, what would you think is the lowest common thing you'll find? Give me an average. And let's be real.
Spend?
Yeah, on bottled water for a family.
They can do a case a week.
A case a week. Okay, so that's at $5.
$5, yeah.
At $5, you're looking at $20. Okay? Would everybody think that's fair? Anything above that is just icing on the cake. So I just want to share something with you. Let's go with that 20. Your chemical waste. Let's be real, guys. I'm not going to sell you any pie in the sky. That's not what I did. I want to talk about realistic numbers. Realistic numbers.
Most people aren't aware of that.
Okay?
It's difficult to get.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about that.
I always use laundry detergent because I think that's the one that
Yeah.
sticks out the most.
Okay?
People are more.
They use it a lot.
Yeah.
And they're like,
Well, let's stop there.
$15 a month.
Let's stop there real quick. Let's be honest. So let's talk about the pies. They're the new fad, right?
True.
Right now, you can go to Costco's and I can get a pod count of 96 pods. Okay? They're selling for $24.95.
Oh.
$24.95.
no, you gotta know the prices. You gotta know the prices.
I like the prices right.
He is right though. Yeah, the prices. Hey, I know what the prices are. Yeah, that's good. They know you're in line.
Okay? $24.95. I got 96 pods. If I go through 30 pods a month, I got to divide that $25 by 3. That takes that to $8 for my laundry detergent. I'm not scared to break this down at all. Lotion, Dawn, how much we talking? Ajax.
I personally use like 2, sometimes 3 Dawn because I hand wash all my dishes. I go through like
Me too.
2 a month basically.
Okay. And how much you pay on your Dawn?
I think they're usually like $5.
Okay, so
Around
$10
there.
a month or $10 a month.
That's a fair number.
Yeah, that's pretty.
Would everybody agree and feel that's a safe number?
$20 about fair for it.
Okay, so here's your Dawn. And what I'm giving you is the low end. So something that you don't have to feel threatened at all. Okay? Shampoo and conditioner.
I use a lot of that.
Y'all can tell me too. And yet I still have 100%.
Man.
I don't know why.
Man.
Okay.
You better ask for
So
it.
how much you pay on shampoo and conditioner?
They're $7 or $8 a bottle.
Okay. All right. $16 for shampoo and conditioner. How long do you have that for? 2 months, 3 months, 4 months, 2 months? So 16, that's $8 a month. Okay, so far I'm at about $36. What else am I missing here?
Just your general cleaners and stuff. But that one I find really hard to talk about.
Okay, so let's think about that. So if I've got Ajax, if I've got my mops, right? Scrub stuff. Can I say with everything else, I'm just gonna go crazy here. Everything else you have in your house, let's just pull that down to just $10. This is the cheapest of all cheaps. Okay? So I'm at $10, $20, $36. Now I'm gonna tell you something. Culligan and the household will tell you something different. They will tell you in the household, now we'll give you this link. They say of every $100 that you spend on groceries, 17 of those dollars is on your cleaning products. So if you spend $400 a month, you're spending almost $80.
Actually, that feels kind of accurate. Just like in my own personal experience.
I've
That
talked
sounds
to
kinda accurate, yeah.
I've talked to every single customer because 65% of your customers are saying, I don't know what I spend on a month on chemicals. Most of them aren't going to say that, but they think it's a legit conversation because they're like saying, well, wow, you know what? There is a cost. for me shampooing and all of these things. But the way you're bringing this to me, I never put it into that kind of rationale. So if I'm saying $100, would you think putting $17, $20 of that budget, would that be a fair assumption? And if they say yes, they have to believe it though. They have to believe
$100
that.
a month.
And $20, every 120 is towards cleaning products. Hold on 1 second.
Yeah, question. So, obviously, when you come and attack this with the customer, do you think do a lot of the customers actually, after they get everything installed, do they really change the amount of shampoo they do use, the amount of detergent?
100%.
Okay, yeah.
Oh, it's huge, man.
Okay.
I'm glad you.
Yeah.
If you don't know, and guess what? Today, this afternoon, we're going to show you how effective that is. That's real talk. That's real talk. Okay, the soap test. So that is so real. So real.
Just, and I've had this come across to me too. So the customer, the rebuttal was, you know, when I'm going through like the cost saving factor of, you know, of our products, when, you know, you're not gonna have to buy as much. They're like, well, we're still gonna buy it.
Exactly.
We're still gonna wash our hair. We're still gonna wash our clothes.
Absolutely.
They're asking me, how much are you gonna save us?
We're going to talk about it.
So
We're going to talk about it.
that's where I kind of was just like, well, at this point right now,
test.
like, I don't know.
I
how
guarantee
much,
you I'll
know
save
what I mean?
you your
Like,
water heater.
Even with the soap test, like they're still saying that you know, this is just real life. Like
Yeah.
they're saying, I still have to buy those products.
You absolutely
So
do.
I may not go through as much as quickly,
Right.
and the customer's saying like, I can see that value, but how much?
There's certain
Like,
ones
and
that
that's
you
why I
will
don't know
just,
what- I didn't
certain
know
ones
that.
you'll just stop, right? So when I got all my stuff, we used to have to throw, because our water's so hard, we used to have to throw something called lime away in our dishwasher to get rid of all the water spots. That's gone. We don't buy that anymore. Our shampoo and our soaps and all that, you're still using it, but you're not using it as much, and you'll see on the soap test.
Right.
That. But you can say, I can guarantee you, I'm gonna prolong the life of your water heater.
Right.
And how much is that worth, right? So
Right, and that was the only rebuttal I had. Was
No.
like I'm gonna prolong your fixtures, your appliances.
yes,
But
And this is something, I'll get to you, Kevin. This is something that is so important. Why I encourage you. I'm not saying doing it tomorrow, but I am saying it doing it sometime soon. You gotta get a water softener. You gotta experience these things yourself. Nothing is more exciting for me when I got my HE with Aquasensor. I'm a maniac seller. When it comes to selling an HE with Aquasensor, nobody can outsell me on this. I bring some crazy energy when I'm talking about an HE with Aquasensor because I have one. And being in the industry, I know that's a bad mama jamma. When it comes to efficiency, it's the real deal. So when you experience it yourself and you're a salesperson, game over, okay? When I'm telling people that if you've had a softener, you can't tell me that if I had a whole bottle of Dawn, where I used to go through 2, now I'm going through 1 full bottle in 6 months, there's a difference. Just like Tim said, and I've eliminated some products because they no longer exist. That's a difference, okay? The one thing that we'll always talk about that you guys should, again, this is me, man. I am so engulfed in our process. I love it. And one of those things is feedback from my customers. I want to hear them tell me, and you know what? I got those 96 pods. I'm using 1 pod for a full load when I used to use 3. Okay? And it's cleaning everything. You know? If I use a small load, I almost got to cut that damn thing in half because it's too soapy. We had a situation where a customer called in because they were using the powder for their dishwasher and they thought they had to use the same amount. They're calling because soaps is all over their floor. Mr. Customer, you don't need to use that much powder anymore. You know, and they're like, holy cow, well, I wish, you know, I wish Anthony would have told me. That guy, man, I tell you, he didn't tell me
Take my money and laugh.
he took my money and gas. I saw him with that black hat, flossing with his, you know.
Yeah,
with his Oakland gear that says Cali.
With this black
And you tell me about the detergent.
One of my toppers was telling me that he tells his customers you can't use pods anymore because sometimes it's too much already in there.
That's right.
So he's like, you
And
have
that's
to be
happened
with
before
that.
too.
Yeah.
You're right.
So my question
Yes.
is, it has to do with strategy. So are you presenting the price of our equipment before going into
Not at all.
the
Oh.
cost calculator?
Oh,
Okay.
no, what I'm doing here now is to show all of you your starting point and get you to realize what it looks like.
Okay, so you will go into
Because
this
you,
with
oh yeah,
breaking it
oh
down
yeah,
first before
absolutely.
even
Because
presenting.
you guys got to know this first. I mean, really know it. You guys got to say, what am I presenting every appointment first? What does this look like? If I know my number is 11.2, what is my monthly? Now I'm going to show you the importance of bringing in the cost from your customer. Because now this number, because I'm bringing in the raw cost, I'm going to minimize that number. So right now, that number is $56. 20 is fixed. I can always use that one guaranteed because that's part of my RO. That's a fixed cost. That's 100% moving over to the next thing. Does everybody understand what I just did? I need to make sure everyone understands that. Any kind of water number they give you, that's 100% transfer. We clear on that? Even if that customer says, I can't buy, I still will buy a pack, that's fine. So you buy 1 or 2 packs a year. I'm not gonna put that in that equation, we don't have to. Those are things that you'll just do because you do it. But if this is what you're saying you're doing for drinking water, whatever that number is, that's 100% transfer. Are we in agreement with that?
Yes.
I need to make sure when you pull your drinking water budget, that's a number that you know is going into this. Now I gotta take 75% of this number because 25% is what they're going to be using for their chemical spend. They still have to buy chemicals. My friend Carlos Chase, I'm sorry, you know what I need you for?
What's up?
Give me 36 times 0.75. 36 times 0.75.
27.
So 27 of those dollars is getting transferred into here. So what I want you to do, take 145 minus 20 minus 27.
Cheaper than a rent?
For $98 a month.
Cheaper than what?
Cheaper than a rent?
Say it one more time.
Cheaper than a rent.
All day long. All day long. But you guys have to get good at saying, I don't have to do the 145. 145 is just the minimum number. But I'm also going to take your current cost and apply that to that number. There was a time, I kid you not, what I used to do, I would say, hey Sam, thanks for having me here. I got some good news for you. We're gonna do a water test. We're gonna discover what needs you have. Why?
I just can't. As much as you know, I can see he's got no chance.
Nobody's got no chance. Of course, you know it. But honestly, when I was selling, it wasn't an 11.5. This was my journey. And if you decide to do business with me, I'm going to try to get that equipment to you virtually free. Because I was good at getting their cost. So if their cost was, they agreed that their cost was $100, my monthly payment at that time when I was selling for a whole treatment solution was $58.
Sheesh.
Mr. Customer, you're spending $100. I'm gonna put money in your pocket and you're gonna get this all new. He's like, hold on, what else is there to talk about?
So
How you gonna do it?
Say that again. How you said, Mr. Customer, say it again. For me?
Yeah, Mr. Customer, I want you to know if we decide to do business with you, okay, if I can show you how I can get this equipment for you at no cost, would that be something you'd want to do business with me with? Okay. Now, the reality is, it all comes down to how good are you with pulling costs. You gotta make that part of your cadence and you gotta get good at it. Okay.
Just, I don't mean to derail, but back to this on the detergent thing. I just want to, am I full of it test. I will kind of regularly tell people that, like, if they're at number 4 on their, like, for example, do you use the pods or do you use the liquid for your detergent?
I use the pods.
Okay, so I use liquids, that's kind of what I've gone to, and it's an easy analogy. But I'll say, for example, you know, if you're using the liquid and you get up to the number 4 notch,
Yep.
with soft water, you can go down to 2 and get a better wash than you were getting with 4. That's something, so it kind of like, you're halving your detergent needs.
Yeah.
I more or less just want to know if I'm full of it with that halving.
No, not at all. In fact, I would even challenge you. Yeah, exactly. I would even challenge you to put a whole load of liquid on one. I mean, try it. Put a full load in. Put it to one.
Test it in
And
myself.
test it. Test it. There's nothing better than your own testimony. If you have a softener, put it down to 1. If you have a half load, go half of one. I've done it. Guess what? Suds just come out crazy. Well, you seen it with the soap test. It's amazing. We have to educate our customers. Mr. Customer, all of the products you used to have, minimize it by at least 50, in most cases 75%. You will get the same, if not better, results.
This again is based on a 15-year loan, is that right? Just about
It's on a 15-year loan,
Okay.
right? So I'm not talking right now about the 3-way strategy. You'll hear my spin on that. It's fantastic. If you embrace it, you will close deals. Okay? I just want you guys to understand, you got to understand this piece so that you're always prepared, confident in what you're selling at every appointment. You cannot go to a house saying you're going to sell triples if you don't know how you're going to present it in a way that's going to be effective enough for them to say, I'll do it. True. You guys got to believe it first. Questions about that? What do you think so far? Okay?
One more question, Dick. So this is the only part I'm a little confused by. Okay,
Talk to
so
me.
this is all about saving, right?
Yeah.
So in the prices, the $145 it would be a monthly after all the costs and stuff that they do on the detergents and stuff, but you're saving them money in regards of that, right? But then they're still spending though, right? So where's the saving coming from?
Yeah.
That's what I'm a little confused by.
So
Because you're still gonna spend.
So the 145 has
Right.
come down to 98.
Correct, okay.
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 And they're only spending, they're not spending on water anymore.
Right.
And they're spending a quarter of their chemical, which really came down to $19. $19 is what they're gonna spend from this total. They're spending $19.
I think the premise is like, let's say you're buying 1 bottle of laundry detergent a month, you're likely only gonna buy 1 every 3 months now. That's where the like savings is
You
coming
gotta
from.
give them the perception that, look, they're gonna be saving a bunch of money in the long haul because they're gonna be using less.
You're gonna use less, buy less.
And just say it again, that same statement again for me.
They're getting the full home.
So he hears it, I hear it again.
If they rented it, it would be 120.
He gives a secret. Say it again how you introduced and said if you can do, you said, Mr. Customer, if we can, go ahead.
If you mean
The same-
initially?
Yeah, initially when we started. So you said, Mr. Customer, if we
Virtually
can.
get it for free.
Yeah, there you go. How'd you say it?
Yeah. If there's a way I can get you a full system virtually for free, would you be up to doing business with me? Okay. Now, that's when I could actually go bar for bar. Okay. I wouldn't say that too quickly, Tony, because then they'll hold it to you.
That was like when pricing was
Sometimes,
58 for.
That's when pricing was 58. Unless, and I'm telling you, listen, I've had at least, God's honest truth, 30% of my customers that spend water, that was $50 to $130 a month. That's real talk. I've had, in fact, I had a customer that I converted to an RO. She was paying $150 $52 a month on bottled water in her house. She was like almost embarrassed when I told her, you ain't got it. I'm gonna put $120 in your pocket. How does that sound? What? Yeah. And you're gonna get the same volume of water you've been buying and breaking your neck to get upstairs. You don't have to do that no more. She was so happy about it, but you know what? She canceled after the 30 days. She said she just loves her bottled water, and she went back to the $152 a month.
She must have been getting these guys. They are really good.
Oh, look at you. See?
She just
You know,
wasn't
I thought it was you, Nisha.
This helped me though. I think overall this helped me because initially when you had just stopped early and you said you got only 10 minutes, you said you got only 10 minutes, I would have walked you, said, let's go check it out. And right when we got over there, I would have looked at that pipe size and I would have said, Mr. Customer, blank, 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 if we can essentially get you a full system virtually for free, would you be willing to do business with us? Because everybody else is giving him a price. Nobody else took him down this path and entertained it enough, and then he was like, that makes sense. It is for free. Because that's what he really wanted, was for free for 10 minutes. But to go on that path with him, you had to probably go to that pipe and then take an assessment, know your pricing because of the pipe size. And then I could just frame myself and say, you know what? Just like, you know what? Essentially, and I think that's why I asked that question, because it was a good breaking point for him to just take it right as is there. Because how are you going to go through a whole price with all this stuff? I'd be better off eliminating all the stuff you're paying and just say it's for free. I'm only saying that because sometimes in that moment, you got to make a hard choice. And I just noticed that that's a good tool that I have today to know how to address it.
Good.
So I appreciate it.
And yeah, you got it. I think when you look at the overall assessments in every appointment, again, after 5 minutes, what do? After the appointment, 5 minutes, analyze it, review your play. Review your play. Okay. Did it sell? What happened? What did you think was the reason for them buying from you? The other thing too, post-installation and follow-ups with your customer is, there's no amount you can put to the arsenal you will have when your customer tells you, I am not using that detergent like you said I was. Well, how much are you using? That's information that you give to your next customer that you see. Okay? So it's important. So I took 145 and I feel that I could get somebody to 98 to as low as $50. I say, Mr. Customer, I'm taking what you're currently spending doing what you're doing today, and I'm gonna put 75% of that towards your equipment, meaning I'm not asking for this 145. I'm just transferring over what you spend anyway towards equipment. And the benefit that you get because you're going to allow me to do that for you, I'm going to extend the life of your equipment. Okay? I'm going to make your hair look marvelous. Okay? Skin green. What you drink, cook, your humidifier, all of those things are going to work for you. And because I'm doing that, instead of you paying the $145 to get all of this done, your net payment is only going to be X amount of dollars. Did you like that? Told me, man, I ain't never seen you write this much info. Man, come on, man.
I'm just bridging gaps.
I like that. I like that.
It's a big deal.
What is your net payment? That's why we have to do the cost analysis. Are we good?
Love it.
Isn't that cool? Do you have a better understanding? Have you guys heard it this way before?
No.
Does it make sense to you? Okay? That's what I want from you guys, is to understand. Now when I do appointments, I'm coming up with a new swag. I have a better understanding of what I'm going to do when I go to these appointments. Okay? And the more you get good at this, and you'll close deals like you ain't never closed them before. The last thing I'm going to say with this, and then we're going to move forward, because this part, this whole thing is important for that reason. Okay? And I just lost it. important. It is important.
The last thing that you're gonna say.
Yeah.
This is where you're building your value, right? So it eliminates the price context that you're dealing with. It eliminates a lot of your competition because they just are all about price.
That's it.
It takes them down a different path that they're not used to. You are showing the value of our equipment, where the other people are just showing their price.
We're gonna put that equipment
And
chemicals inside.
And when I'm reducing it to this anyway, whatever that number was, that person who said he just wanted the software, that's what you're paying that right now. I'm giving you the other two pieces of equipment.
So, I love this cost calculator because it breaks down how our equipment can alleviate your costs. I guess for me, I still kind of feel like I'm still not too familiar. I want to be able to do this as if like I'm with a customer and break it down. Because as good as this seems, like I want to make sure that practice is.
So,
I think at some point, and you're right about it, just because as I've been through a couple of appointments more, there's a realistic conversation for everybody to have, and if you can get past that piece, it's best for them to give you that anyway, because it has to be logic to the sale.
True.
So
right,
if I say something past this training part, I'm selling everything. And I think that's the basis of me just meeting you, saying, hey, like, even if you're aggressive here, I got to take you to the pipes and get your attention on. I got to get back in the mindset of saying, okay, you know, have you had any troubles with the water itself? Because we're at the pipes now, right? Yeah, I have had a lot of calcium. And then, okay, well, what kind of products have you been using lately? However you build that up, we've got to start from that and allocate costs.
Right.
Because in the end of the journey, it's got to make sense to him why I'm fighting for another minute, another 2 minutes, another 3 minutes, because I got to just do my job. So I think this is the perfect transition piece that you need to get started.
And what I was trying to allude to is financing. The beauty I love about financing, okay, is the minute I give them, and all I'm doing is breaking it to this point, but I'm also still always an advocate for my customer. What do I mean by that? I'm always telling them, Mr. Customer, okay, Carlos, I'm letting you know right now, your net cost, based on what you're currently spending and what your net cost will be to finance this, is $98. But the good news is that there's no prepayment penalty. The more you pay, the shorter the distance. Okay? Just so that you guys know, that 1099 exists for a 5-year loan, a 10-year loan, a 15-year loan. You don't get a better rate because you want a 3-year. So why would I make them start at $250 a month if they're not going to win anyway? I'd rather give them the lowest monthly payment, pay as much as you want up ahead. You with me?
So
now they're hearing, hold on, now they're hearing me as a true advocate. Oh, this dude is on my side. He gets me. He's telling me, if you have more money to spend a month, pay it. That's what I tell my friends. That's what I tell my family. You know, hey, do you really want a 15-year loan? Hell no. Pay a little bit more. It'll shorten it. Ding, 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 ding. And here's my cadence on everyone that I do, I promise you, is, hey, Ryan, it's going to be $98 a month. The good news is that there's no prepayment penalty. You can pay as much as you want. This is how I say it verbatim. I have customers today that's on this plan that have paid it in a year. I've had customers who have on a plan that's paid it in 5 years. I have customers today that still maintains a minimum payment. It's custom for every single person. Every customer I tell that you get it. Most of your customers all say this with pride. Oh, I'm gonna pay it off in a year anyway. I'm looking at that customer 7 years in. You lying. Doesn't matter though, right? But they're gonna tell you, I'm gonna pay this thing in a year anyway. Don't worry about it. Let's go do it. It doesn't matter. What does matter is, what did they hear from you? Mr. Customer, there's no prepayment penalty. Pay it off as soon as you like to. But always know, you may be paying $300 of a $98 payment, but when that month you got to buy more gifts and everything else, isn't it nice to know that your minimum is doable?
The APR on the 10-year and the 15-year exactly the same. You said
All of it is.
all the same. Okay.
All of it.
What's the difference in payment, give or take, on between the 15 and the 10? You're looking at 50.
I love that. So I've had a person ask me, well, Vic, I want to pay it off in 5 years. I tell them it's ballpark about $250 a month. So if you got $250 a month, like I said, pay it. You know, if you really want to get down to the details, call your financial institution, Aqua Finance. They'll tell you exactly what you need to pay if you want to pay it earlier. The good news is, again, you can. To the customer that says, well, man, 10 and a half. Wow, 10 and a half is a little bit too high. What is your current credit card? Sorry. I say it just like that quickly, without hesitation. Like, oh, wow, that's high. What's your current credit card rate? Oh, they shut up there. Oh, I'm sorry. Did I say something wrong? But I say it just like that fast. Because as much as you want to grimace at the fact that I'm giving you a 10-9, you got something better?
Put it on your credit card.
I can't wait to hear it. I want to tell my friends.
I'm getting on that.
But do you feel my energy when I do stuff like that?
Yeah.
We can't be scared because we're giving somebody an APR. The customer, they don't have any choice but to say, oh my gosh, really? Oh wow, that's nice. What's a better rate? Well, I don't have none. What the hell are we doing? What are we talking about? Now, I'm just telling you that because you get that customer's like, ooh, like what are you oohing about? I know my rate is better than any credit card in your wallet. What are we talking about here?
Now, what if they try and compare it to like a car loan, for example? Okay, it's like in the realm of a car, a highly qualifiable customer. Because in this case, like a tier 3 being the 11%, like tier 3 is probably a pretty decent qualified customer.
Yeah.
So that is high in their realm. I mean, yes, the credit card comparison is great. I love that. But like, what if they do? And I haven't ran into this, so maybe I'm drumming up the wrong shot or whatever.
You
But like,
kinda
what if they
are,
do?
but
They're
let's
like,
do
my
it.
car is 4%. So that's $30,000 car. Like, you're crazy, you know?
Exactly. So Chase, what I would like to do, if you're relating that to a car vehicle, can I sell my system for $35,000? Because I'll work it out. I mean, if you're that concerned for the 2.9%, I think I could get that for you if I could raise my price to $35,000.
That's fair, yeah. Come at
I'll write it up for you.
Chase,
Like a
one
higher
thing I would
energy.
say is a lot of customers are going to try and bog you down in the weeds, right? So if they're sold on the system, we give them options. You can pay credit card, you can pay check, you can do financing. It's not our financing.
This is just an option.
Yeah, we have two different lenders that we use and we like. You're free to go out and get whatever you want. If they love the system, they will figure out a way to get paid. When they're getting you down in the weeds about APR and this, and I tell my guys this all the time, don't do exact. Well, your payment's going to be $145 every month, and then this. Don't do that because things can change, and who knows what. There's truth in lending. We're going to send you a loan document. It's going to tell you exactly how much you pay, how much your interest is going to be, how long it's going to be. It'll be all there. You already got them onto the application at that point in time. When you're talking about what's my payoff and what's this and how much, they're not sold on the system yet.
And that's a story all in itself. We won't talk about it now. We will. But of course you gotta sell the product before you even talk payments, period. Right? But when you're talking about these payments again, why we're having this exercise is I want to show you the whole scheme of why we start with low payment. This is the why. This is the why. Okay, is that you guys want to sell systems. And the way you do it is by offering first the low monthly payment. If this doesn't even exist unless I don't get here until I tell them, based on your water report, you need this, this, and this, and they go, I want it. How much? I'm gonna get there. How much? But they have to be sold on the equipment I'm presenting. I haven't told them the price yet. I had to sell them on the equipment. They say, I want it. Great. I have some good news for you. Based on what you told me and what you spend, your net payment is only $98 a month.
And that 145 is the finance payment.
Right.
But the net payment is after we deducted what you
From
said
your
you
chemical
spent,
spend, exactly.
All that spending is your net payment.
That's absolutely right.
Okay, keep on rolling into that part.
I like that. So this is your net payment, is that 98 minus your chemical spend, okay? Mr. Customer, you can pay as much as you want to lower that. They don't say how long is the payment for, 15 years, I don't hesitate. I'm confident in it, it's 15 years. There is no prepayment penalty. The more you pay on it, the less that term is gonna be. It's 10.5, yes it is. Do you have a interest rate that's lower than that? No, I don't. This could be a route for you. Next thing that they might come up with is, do you have 0% financing available? Yes, we do. We have a 6-month payment that's coming up real soon in December. So by the time you guys are out in the streets, you'll be able to offer that, okay? But if we have those kind of programs, we have it available. Know what your finance options are when you're having this conversation, but always, 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 always start with the lowest payment. On every single deal you do, you start with the lowest payment, okay? You can bounce out of anything else you want to from that point.
So forgive me, this will be where I have most of my questions because, like I said, I want to really hammer in on sales and financing.
Good.
So, and I might be translating some anxieties from car sales into this, but a common experience that I had, and I have had at least once, as I've been trying to pitch this financing, is I'll dive into the payment first. Yeah, Mr. Customer, you're going to get all this equipment for, for $145, whatever it is, right? And it happens more often than not, or at least I'm expecting it to. Maybe I shouldn't prejudge, but that's great. I know you're going to pitch me this payment, but what is the cost of the equipment? Like they always, maybe not always, but they'll want to know.
That's right.
Most of these customers are kind of familiar, like with the payment game.
Chase.
Based
on everything that we said, you said you want the HE, the RO, and your non-bankruptcy card is going to take care of your whole thing. I get this done for you for $98 a month minus the cost that we uncovered that you're spending.
I mean, that sounds great, but I still want to know how much is the actual equipment? What am I going to pay longer?
The total cost is $11,200.
So you throw it out. At that point, I mean, you're there.
Well, look,
I'm not trying to hide, but you're asking a question.
Yeah.
And I'm just telling you from my standpoint, I'm not hiding anything.
Fair.
I mean, I'm going.
Maybe that's my inner gaming car sales.
Exactly. Here's what.
I know.
Here's what I get. This is the God's honest truth. This is what I get with salespeople who do not believe in the price of their equipment. It's when you don't believe in your own price, they'll feed it, they'll read it, and that's when they'll say, I'll make another decision. Because you don't even believe it. So the minute you say it's $85, and I got a customer who says, what's the right price? On 11.2? What are you doing?
Fair.
What are you doing? I am confident. If I told you it was $25,000, it's because I believe in the value of the equipment that I'm selling. That's why I sell for this company. When they feel that energy, they actually feel like, yeah, I really want this. This dude is really proud of his shit.
Yeah, there's some kind of exchange that's got to take place before you ask that price, and that is, I need to know what you're paying for all the stuff and pretty much in the house. Because when you ask the price, you're going to want the exchange to give up that.
But that's for sure. But that's fair what you're saying. I need to.
And I'm translating some previous experience,
Everybody. Well, first of all,
I think one more thing just to add to it, because me personally, maybe someone else can relate to this. With the exception of cars, I would say that this is kind of the higher side of tickets that I've ever like in my dental sales is what I did before. Yeah. My average ticket was $2,500 to $4,000. And I'm pitching to doctors. I know they got money.
Right.
So maybe I have a bit of price anxiety because we're hitting that $10,000 mark for regular residents.
But I mean, one thing I tell my sales teams too is people Google these days.
Yeah.
At least 50% of them are not coming into this blindly. They have a good idea of what it costs.
Absolutely.
So even though they don't have your exact pricing, they know what they're up against. It's a customer's job to try to save money. So understand that. My guys used to call me all the time. They've stopped now. And say things like, well, he says he's only going to sign it if we take 30% off. I wish I could walk into any store and say I'm only buying it if you sell it to me for $7, not 70.
Absolutely, yeah.
You know, you don't get to, customers don't get to control that much. You know, so and they know that. So if they tell you they want 30% off, they're really hoping you give them 10. You know what I mean? Because people give you the most to try to meet at the middle. But they have an idea of what they walked into. Understand that.
For sure.
You know, they want the reputation of culligan. They called us for a reason. You know, so be confident about that.
There's two types of customers as he's training, and I'm absorbing it. One type is, of course, the one they're sending us to say go to the house. I'm interested when I walk in the neighborhood and I go knock at your door. I have to pitch you on the spot, and I'm interested in telling you how our systems, most people can get them for free. Now, that's a good pitch. There is no way possibly that I can go down any other way except I got to eliminate all the costs you're paying. And you got to trust me on that because that's why you want something better for your family. I think I can do that with this method because it's a clear-cut approach. So a person can't say unless they give me their costs, wow, it's expensive. Because I've had to eliminate all the stuff that I'm removing just to get to cost. So it's kind of offensive if you're like, what does it cost? It's a little offensive if I'm removing all this stuff and saying it's essentially free.
Chase, it's the value.
You should just be paying $145 and then give up everything else that you're paying for is not working. That's what most customers do.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna go to your neighbor next door, see if I can do the same thing. I have to have that style to get past 2 deals a day. It's got to be a style because I can't embark on that. You know, like in the moment, what's the cost to the guy at the door? He's got to be willing to say, hey, look, man, if you can replace all the soap expense, let's do it.
And the biggest thing, Tony, that I would take with that, and I like where you're going with it, is 100% of what he's saying, you will always do on drinking water. I'll tell you that right now, because on the drinking water RO, your monthly payment on $2,500 is $30. So if you get $30 worth of drinking in, it's a no-brainer. I
missed this.
I just replaced. Look at him, he's like, "What's he doing for me?"
I missed this, man.
You see, but that's what I'm saying. This is why this little workshop that we're doing right now is so critical for your process to say, now I get it. Now I really understand. And more importantly, I hope that you get for this exercise is now I'm even more motivated to get out here and talk to this next customer because now I know how I'm going to do this, right? So to that customer that says, how much is it? Without hesitation, man, feel proud. Do it, say it with pride. It's $11,200. It's the best equipment you'll ever buy for the protection of your home, to the welfare of you and your family when you're drinking water. That's worth the investment. I used to get real cold-blooded on it. You know what I used to do? Mr. Customer, how much is your house? Because last I checked, this 1.2 million. So for me to protect your fixtures and everything else, I'm asking for 1% of the value for your home.
That's a good, I like that.
Yeah,
I'll break it down. Listen, guys, y'all in good hands. Y'all met the real one here. Okay, I know what I'm talking about. I mean that respectfully. But trust me, I know what I'm talking about. And if you embrace some of these things that I'm telling you, you will win. You will win. Okay? So.
One thing I want to make sure it's clear is that when, Vic is confident in his numbers. You have to be confident. It can't be how much is your system. If you put an there, you're locked. Can't put an there. $11,500. And shut up.
There's a study I was reading that the majority of middle-class working Americans gravitate to a higher priced product over a lower priced product. Because in our minds, not knowing enough about the product, if we see an iPhone that costs $800 and we see an I don't know,
a Droid for $200.
We just we don't know enough about phones. We think that's the better one. Right. I'm guilty of that, 100%. I'm like, what is it missing when it's too cheap? You know what I mean? So it's not your job to do anything but present the value. Have confidence in your pricing always, because a lot of people already think you have a better product just because of that. So it's actually a good thing. You have the Louis Vuitton once again. You know what I mean? You don't have the Walmart. That's great. Be proud.
And we've all bought cheap and dealt with what happens when we buy cheap.
I tell customers in a minute, you get, in my past roles and all that too, you get exactly what you pay for in this world.
Buy once, cry once.
Yep. Right. So we've been around over 80 years for a reason.
All right, I want to wrap up on needs analysis real quick within HSX. So there's two tabs. One is called needs analysis. We've already done that with the bottled water, with the drinking water. The rest of it with your chemical spend is going to be in the Culligan Solutions tab, right? So there's a myriad of ways to do it. Vic can do it on a piece of paper. You can do it on a piece of paper and just automatically just put that number. What was your monthly the chemical spend?
Chemical spend came out on this one, total $56.
$56 for chemical.
Well, chemical was 36, right? For just chemical.
No, I'm talking all chemicals,
All
the whole house,
chemicals.
whole
That's
house,
gonna show you.
whole house, right?
Whole house.
It's $56.
That's what we came up with,
Alright.
which is low.
What was the other 24?
It was the bottled water.
Bottled water. That's
All right, so that's what that is, right? So you can put it in that way. Reset it, go back there. If you want to do it, if you have a customer that wants to go all the way through, this will remind you how to do it. Gives you pictures. You can put it in room by room. There are dealerships that literally will open up a cabinet door and go, okay, I see TCL, I see Lime Away. How much is that? And they go itemized because they want to make it painful.
Oh, that's not cheap.
This is your do what you want to do moment, right? Do it on the piece of paper, have the number, you just put it in and you're done, right? You want to go room by room, you can do that. You can do it a myriad of different ways, but you will, the first time when you're trying to find this, you're going to go, where the hell was this thing? And it's in the Culligan Solution tab, right?
How do you do that again, Tim?
So you got needs analysis is where you got your bottled water up top. Culligan Solutions is going to be right here, what's called the waste analysis. And one thing I want to say is if you don't do your chemical spend and you don't do your bottled water spend, it's going to be very difficult for you to do a three-way close. Because you don't have your cost to do nothing.
Thank you.
Right? You just eliminated one of their choices. And there's a choice to do nothing for a reason. It takes the pressure off. As soon as the pressure's off, they go, oh, okay. Right? Because when people get confused, a confused mind is always going to say no. So our object is to make sure that they're not confused. Three options. You can do nothing, but there's a cost to that. You can have your fixtures go, your hairs, this and that. You can rent it, you can buy it. Always three options. So, anything else we need to go on HSX portion of it?
Actually, maybe so. So I know. Can we go? Are we going to go to the three-way close page? That way you can show like the adjustments and all that. Are we going to do that?
Yeah,
as well?
not now.
Okay. I mean, if we're going to come back to it, that's okay.
Yeah, it'll be part of the close.
So three-way close is a work in progress. I'll just
Yeah.
put that as a little pin in it.
Yeah,
I personally don't like the way it goes.
Okay.
Me neither.
Because
I have to add it.
Because I was gonna say, because I was on that training where they showed us like the new update where you can go in and make the adjustments
Unreveal it.
and then unreveal it. So I was gonna say if we're gonna touch base on it a little bit because I want to use that. I haven't yet.
Yeah.
I
I
want
think it's
to.
eventually gonna work.
Yeah, it is. But the biggest thing again, I will say this every single day. Okay, practice. You can't leave here this week and then go into next week and not practice the things we taught today. Okay, you just can't do it, but yet we do it all the time. Okay, you can't do it. I'm begging you guys. All right, the only way you're going to get good at what we're talking about on here, you got to get into HSX. You got to know how to manipulate those prices, because if you don't practice, of course you're going to be frustrated because you didn't practice. You're wondering, why is it like this? When you could have, if you dove into this a little bit more and tweak it. That's why yesterday I said, you cannot break this thing. Get in here and forcibly fail to learn.
So if you have friends or family that you
Some
can
role play.
run mock-ups with, who aren't going to hate you afterwards, it's super.
And by the way,
I did it with my kids.
Kevin, while you're doing that too, guess what happens with that? Because I know a rep who did this, like literally drove his girlfriend crazy.
Yeah.
But guess what? He had one hell of a month, took his girlfriend to a really nice restaurant and thanked her for it. You know, but at the end of the day, listen guys, it's your money. These guys make top dollars in professional sports because they put the practice in. And that's why I'm a fanatic with this, is that I love what I do because I practice it. I love what I do on training because I do this all the time, but I love it. That's why I'm telling you, you know, for me, when I tell you to call me, I'm not bullshitting. give me a call, challenge me. But I'm a blame. I don't want you to call me unless you calling me to say I want to improve. You calling Vic Vickers because you say I want to be a boss. I want to be top $100. Hell yeah, that's what I want to do. Have that little, this is what I'm talking about. I want what's the best I can do. So when you want to sit back and you want to role play, let's do this. Let's perfect our craft. Because if we can do that, man, I'm telling you, all you're going to do is say, man, Vic, dude, you have changed my life. And I'm going to say, I didn't do it, you did it. You did it, wasn't me.
I can actually attest to that. We rode around 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
And what did I ask you? Damn, a lot of people are calling you, or what are you hiring these damn people? You know? Because I'm serious, this is how he is.
Yeah. Yeah. I want to see you guys succeed, you know. But like I said, sometimes we go through these boot camps and we say, yeah, we did it, rah, rah. And then I come back and say, hey, what was your stats? You're like, what?
You know, interesting enough, by the time we went over this, I was already knee deep into selling, because selling was selling, I'm telling you. But this is the perfect formula where I can walk up to your house and say, you know, we helped the last 3 customers get a whole home system. It's about $30 a month. They're like, what? Correct. That is correct. Because by the time I deduct everything you're paying, the net price is $30.
So what Tony is saying, and I get what his thought process is he's getting more and more confident in what he feels the sweet spot, where everybody will say, I want to know more.
I want to know more, because how can you eliminate all this? And you got to be realistically saying you're going to trust culligan. The best company out there, realize that you're spending 70, 80, 90 bucks a month on all this. When we do a water test, I believe you fall into just $30 is the net. That's all it's going to cost you.
And all I need is some time to just show you what it's all about.
Just a quick water test. So I'll be.
And I'm saying this ballpark, but when we get done
Yep.
with our appointment, we'll know exactly what that is.
And then I think I can go to the next house and knock out 5 in a respectful window, because they'll be interested enough to say $30 for the whole home system. Culligan's kind of costs a lot more than that. So I'm just trying to tell you that either way, I have to have a backup plan for getting my 2 deals, 2 leads, and then the company sends us whatever. But I think this was helpful for me.
Good. I hope y'all, you know, this is something new that I presented in Sacramento. So I'm doing my style of boot camps have changed. And last week I did something similar to this, and it changed lives. Because now I had sales reps saying, now I get my role. Now I understand my role. And not only that, which is really passionate for me, is I also have a plan. I also